Top Gun Maverick was directed by Joseph Kosinski, and it stars Tom Cruise as he reprises his role as Pete Maverick Mitchell. And this movie takes place like 30 something years after the first movie. And this movie is a long waited or an unexpected sequel to the first Top Gun movie, which this movie did came out in the 1980s. Excuse me. So it's great to see Tom Cruise since he's now reprised his role as Maverick. So in this movie, Maverick has been called back to Top Gun to train and teach these new Top Gun pilot graduates to go on these missions, and now we got our movie. So when I heard some really praised reviews about this movie, actually after seeing the trailers for this movie, when the teaser trailer came out 2 years ago, but the movie was supposed to come out 2020, but when the pandemic hit, the movie probably got delayed, probably at least too many times, but after seeing the trailers, I was like, is this movie gonna flop? Kinda, but I was wrong. So I heard some really praised reviews, but when I heard some praised reviews about the movie, when I heard the audience loved it, I heard the critics loved it, and I said, okay, I'll go see this movie. After I watched the movie, I said, this movie is awesome. Top Gun Maverick is easily one of the best movies ever. One of the best awesome thrill ride movies of the year, of 2022. And I'm really surprised this movie I heard this movie, even though I heard this movie got some support probably from the fans who have seen the first movie. It was me. I did watch the first movie on Netflix, and after watching it, I was like, I liked it. I liked Tom Cruise in that movie. I thought he did a really good job in the first movie. But I was like, but he did a really good job in the first movie. It's just that the cinematography with the jet scenes in the movie didn't felt more shot lifted at all like Top Gun Maverick did. But Top Gun Maverick has some really good cinematography, which I'll talk about the cinematography later. But even though Top Gun 2 is an awesome movie, and I was really confused why people hated the first movie. I was like, wait, I thought the first movie was gonna be good, and I was like, well, it got really negative reviews. But Top Gun 2 really got positive reviews, and I loved it. My opinions and thoughts on the movie that I loved about Top Gun Maverick, everything in this movie felt perfect. Like, everything in this movie felt like a thrill ride. It feels like you're going on a roller coaster ride, because the thrilling scenes, because everything in this movie, like I said, this movie's really good. Everything in this movie felt great. But let's talk about the actors and the characters. Let's start with Tom Cruise. Now, Tom Cruise is back from the events of the first movie. I don't know how old he was in the first Top Gun movie. I think he was in his 20s or 30s, or I don't know. But in this movie, I think Tom Cruise is either in his 50s or 60s, I don't know. But it's great to see him. It's great to see him back once again as Maverick. And now, because of Maverick in this one, Maverick is now called back because he's ordered to train these pilots, these new Top Gun pilot graduates. He's training them he's training them to go on these missions. He's telling them what to do. Because he's the boss of these new pilots. And now with Maverick in this movie, he's kind of like, I think he's the captain or the lieutenant of these new pilots who showed up for these new Top Gun missions. And because of Maverick I think it's great to see Tom Cruise once again from the events of the first movie after he learned about what happened in the first movie. But in this one, he felt more serious in this one than he felt way more serious in the first film. But I liked him in the first movie, I'm not going to lie. But Tom Cruise in this movie, I think I liked him in this movie like I liked him in the first movie. But all the mistakes that he probably made in the first movie, he's like, well, he mostly learns from it. And now he has moved on, and now he's the same. Now it's great to see Tom Cruise once again back as Maverick, as Pete Maverick Mitchell. And And I think that's it. So I guess that's it for Tom Cruise, and he's really good in this movie. And next up is Rooster. Rooster, who's played by Miles Teller. I want to say that okay. So Rooster is mostly the son of Goose from the first Top Gun movie, and I was like, wait, Goose has a son? That's awesome. So Goose's son, who's played by Goose's son named Rooster, who's played by Miles Teller. Miles Teller is really good in this movie. Miles Teller gives a really excellent performance in this movie because he's trying to not to rediscover about what happened to his father in the first movie. All he wants to do is be trained. All he wants to do is be trained and learn how to fly a jet like his father from the first movie. And Rooster, I gotta say, Rooster is really good here. And even I do like Miles Teller in this movie. I like Miles Teller way better in this movie than he was in the 2015 Fantastic Four movie, which he was fine in that movie. But in this movie in particular, I liked him in this movie because his performance is amazing. Because I think him and Tom Cruise had a good time filming this movie, and I think that's it for Miles Teller as Rooster. And next up is John Hamm as Cyclone. Now with Cyclone played by John Hamm. So John Hamm is really good in this movie because him playing Cyclone, he's ordering Maverick to go train these pilot graduates from Top Gun to learn how to fly these jet planes they probably never learned before. But there are some times where I think he's either the chain of command, or is he the captain or the lieutenant. I don't know. But with John Hamm, he's really good in this movie, and he gives a really great performance in this movie. And I think that's it for John Hamm. And next up is Monica Barbaro as Phoenix. Now, Phoenix in this movie, she's not really the love interest. She felt like a sister figure because I think she's the only female pilot with this crew of this team of pilots at Top Gun. And I mean, she's just there to be trained to learn how to fly these jets. And there's some times where she's way more serious in this movie. And because Monica Barbaro is really good in this movie, she gives a really excellent performance in this film as well. And I think that's it for her. And next up is who else? Next up is Glenn Powell as Hangman. Now, I gotta talk about Hangman. Now, Hangman, on the other hand, there's some times where he's kind of like the Joker laughing style of the movie because he smiles a lot throughout the whole movie, but there's some times where he goes in serious mode. And because Hangman is kind of like the funniest, kind of like the comedy, a little bit like the comedy relief of the movie, but I was like, yeah, because all the stuff that sometimes he says is not funny enough, but Hangman is kind of like a little bit like the comedy relief of the movie. But with Hangman, I think with Glenn Powell as Hangman is really good in this movie. I enjoyed his performance as Hangman in the movie, and also he's just there to be trained. He's also there to be trained by Maverick to fly these jets and go on these missions with his team, because he felt like a brother figure to this team of pilots at Top Gun. So I think that's it. And there's nothing much to say about Glenn Powell, and he's really good in this movie. And next up is Jennifer Connelly. Now, Jennifer Connelly, I want to talk about Jennifer Connelly. She is in the movie. Jennifer Connelly is kind of like the next, excuse me, she's kind of like the new next love interest, since I heard that Kelly, I forgot her last name, from the first movie, didn't want to come back for this movie, which I don't know why she didn't want to come back. But Jennifer Connelly in this movie, she is fantastic in the movie. All I know is she's like the next love interest to Maverick. and she just dares to be a love interest, and that's it. Because we don't spend that much quality time with her, but but we do. There's some times where we do, sometimes we don't, but mostly to me, we kind of do spend a little bit quality time with her. But this movie wants to focus on the training stuff with the pilots trying to fly these jets, and I get it. But Jennifer Connelly's in the movie, but sometimes she's not in the movie all that much, and I think that's it for Jennifer Connelly. And last but not least, it's Ed Harris? Yeah, Ed Harris. Now, Ed Harris is in the movie probably at least two or three times and gone. I mean, he's like, yeah, Maverick, you're grounded, and now you gotta go train these pilots, and why not? Because Ed Harris is really good in this movie. I think I liked him in this movie because my first time experiencing Ed Harris, and he was in National Treasure Book of Secrets. I mean, he was okay in that movie, but in this movie, I liked him way better in this movie than he was in National Treasure Book of Secrets. I mean, that's my own opinion, because, I mean, he's in the movie, but he's not in the movie that much. But there's some times where I'm just like, yeah, but he's not in the movie all that much. But I think he's in the movie probably at least 3 or 4 times and gone and not show up anymore. And I think that's it for Ed Harris. And that's all I can say for him. And that's it for the actors and the characters. And I do want to talk about the action. The action in this movie felt awesome. The action sequences with the jet scenes in the movie. I mean, it's not just about, because these pilots are actually not just being trained to fly these jets. They're just trained to go on these missions with Maverick. You know, Maverick is giving them commands. And telling them and showing them what they need to do, and all the mistakes that sometimes they make. They need to learn from those mistakes. Because the action sequences in this movie, I think the cinematography, I want to talk about with cinematography in this movie felt like you're going on a thrill ride. And I heard the cinematography in this movie is way more better than it was in the first movie. And I'm going to say, you know what? Since I saw the first movie, the cinematography in the first movie was okay, but I didn't understand what I'm looking at. But in this movie, this director knows how to give really good cinematography. The action sequences felt like you're going on a roller coaster ride. It felt like you're going on a roller coaster ride. You know, sometimes we get Dutch angles this way and that way and upside down, and sometimes we're going. That's why the cinematography in this movie is awesome. And you can actually see the cinematography felt more clear than it was in the first movie. The cinematography in this movie, there's nothing getting in your face, and you don't. Like, there's most of the time you can see what's going on. There's nothing getting in your face, and you can't really see what's going on with the jet scenes. No, you can see everything in the cinematography felt more clear. Like, you can see the pilots going, you can actually see the flying scenes, you can see the pilot inside the jet just flying, and also the cinematography, like I said, felt more, you can actually see exactly what is going on. And that's it for the action sequences. Like I said, the action sequences felt more thrilling than the action sequences in this movie felt more thrilling than it was in the first movie. And that's it. But what else I enjoy about this movie is, what else I enjoy about this movie is the chemistry. The chemistry in this movie felt like the chemistry with all these pilots that Maverick is training. Maverick is more than just their captain and lieutenant. He felt like a father figure. He felt like a father figure not just to these pilots, but he felt like a father figure to Rooster after what happened to Rooster's dad in the first movie. But Rooster has, now because of Maverick has learned from his mistakes about what happened in the first movie, from all the stuff that he made a mistake for. But there's some times where Maverick makes mistakes in this movie, but there's some times where he doesn't learn from those mistakes. But there's sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. And yes, because we all make mistakes. That's part of being a human. And Maverick in this movie, I mean, with Tom Cruise, I can't wait for that Mission Impossible movie. Because, you know, we are going to get a Mission Impossible 7. And Tom Cruise is going to be in Mission Impossible 7, which is called Dead Reckoning Part 1. I seen the trailer and I loved it. I love the trailer for Mission Impossible 7. And I can't wait to see Part 1 in 2023 of next year. And that's it. So, because of Tom Cruise, he gives a really excellent performance. And I think everybody in this movie is really giving really good performances in this movie. So, is there anything else to say? I don't think so. I think everything in this movie felt more like you're going on a roller coaster ride, because every time you look at the jet scenes in the movie, you can actually see and see exactly what's going on, because how it felt more clear, where the camera doesn't get in the way, where everything gets in your face. No, you can actually see exactly what's going on. And I think that everything in this movie felt more dark, thrilling, and felt like you're going on these new missions and new adventures that you never learned before. But I think that's it for Top Gun Maverick. And there's nothing much to say about this movie, and I think that's about it. So that's about it for this. I think that's it for this movie review for Top Gun Maverick, and that's about it. So be sure to like, subscribe, press notification button, follow me on Instagram, comment down below, and I'll see you on my next video, and thank you for watching.